Hey everyone, I wanted to share my league start plans for Mirage League. So I'm going to be playing Exsanguinate Minds Trickster again. I league started this in Keepers and in Freesia as Surfcaster. It worked really well for me and I'm excited to play it again, this time with all my experience I've gained from playing it in Keepers and Freesia. If you're interested in seeing how I level this as a league starter, I've highlighted one of my Act 10 practice runs that clocked in at just under 5 hours and could be faster if you're a better speedrunner than I am. You'll notice I don't mule a witch, but you might want to do that. I don't because I don't like to and I'm stubborn. I follow Fearless Dumbo's guide and PoB for this build, and not much has changed from his guide, so you can still follow the existing guide. Fearless Dumbo has also said he'll be league starting a different build this league, so if you're looking for someone to follow along with that's playing Exsanguinate Reap Minds, I'll be streaming all my progress on League Start. While almost everything about the build is the same, there are two changes to the build I do want to point out. The more impactful change is to Runegraft of Refraction, which will no longer work with Exsanguinate because they changed the Runegraft to say projectiles chain an additional time. Exsanguinate does not have the projectile tag, so this will no longer work with Exsanguinate. This means to have decent clear, you will need to link chain support to your Exsanguinate, which will replace one of your damage support gems. I tested my Exsanguinate Miner on a 5-link with chain support in the 5-link, and I still had a comfortable amount of damage in T16 while using what I consider moderate endgame gear that I expect I'll have by day 2 or 3. The second change is we no longer have the breach arm graphs, which could be combined with Archon's tools to provide a sizable damage buff. I personally never used this tech because it sounded annoying to manage and was only really feasible option for bosses, and not something you would want to do while map clearing anyways. Instead of Archon's tools, I'll be using a rare belt until I can afford a headhunter and then mage blood, or the new Screams of the Desiccated Shrine belt. I personally haven't used a headhunter much with this build. I'm pretty sure there aren't any headhunter mods that would brick the build, but I also don't know how much it may benefit the build when considering the cost of the headhunter belt, so if they are far out of my price range, I may stay on a rare belt for a while. Next, I wanted to share my general endgame strategy that I plan to start out with for farming. That will hopefully be a combination of Harvest and Maven witnessing Cyrus Guardians. My concern about this is the possibility that there may be changes to how we find and kill Cyrus Guardians with the Atlas rework. Looking at the Atlas from the trailer, I don't see a specific spot for Cyrus or his Guardians. Maybe I'm just missing it though. Either way, we can assume they're still in the game because there was no mention of their removal, and the trailer shows Maven invitations providing the same number of points as before. Ideally, I'd like to do this farm on the Atlas where I can apply Astrolabes, but if that isn't possible, I will likely opt to farm the Guardians without Astrolabes, which might be less juicy for Harvest, making it more of a secondary farm to supplement Witnessing Cyrus Guardians. There's two other strategies I'm going to be keeping an eye on as well. Delve is one that I'm going to be keeping an eye on as an option, with fossils being removed from, I believe, all or most sources that provided them from outside of Delve. This means fossils will most likely be much more expensive now, and as a result, increase the currency per hour from farming Delve depending on how many players are willing to farm it, which historically hasn't been many, but that could change if players consider it worth their time now. Another strategy I will be keeping an eye on is Breach Fortress, because they gave a decent amount of loot in Keepers League, and Exsanguinate Miner is incredibly good for farming them. Most of the time I didn't even need to look at the screen until maybe the last couple of waves. That's all I have for this video. If you haven't seen yet, I've started multi-streaming daily on Twitch, YouTube, and Kick from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. North American Central Time if you want to come and stop by and hang out or ask questions live. And I will, of course, be live streaming longer hours for the league start, and I'll be live streaming all my progress as well if you want to come follow along. Thanks for watching, good luck on your league start, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day or night.